I turned 37 and I decided that I want to change my family's financial future. I'm not wealthy, I'm not an expert, I'm not a crypto bro or a drop shipper. This is the financial equivalent of you tuning into somebody's physical transformation journey. At least I hope it is. This is about moving my family one step closer to financial freedom. So the question is, can I completely change my family's financial future in my 37th year? What's my backstory? I'm 37, like I said. I'm married. I have two beautiful daughters. They're 4 and 2. My husband and I are both self-employed. I am a postpartum personal chef. My husband is a touring musician for a country artist. And we are living paycheck to paycheck. I think that can look different for everybody based on what their expenditures look like. But for where we are right now in our lives, we are really feeling the squeeze in this economy, with rising expenses, with childcare costs. It really adds up and we're feeling stuck. When I was about to turn 37, I just realized the only person who can get me unstuck is me. There's this looming thought that's been in my head for years now of, well, someday it won't be like this. And now I'm looking at myself in the mirror and like, what do you think is going to change if you aren't the one doing something different? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Well, guess what? My life looks the same as it did 5 years ago. I haven't made very many changes to move the needle financially. What changed for me is that I'm not my why anymore. My needs are covered and I can get by just fine. But now I have these kids and I want to give them more. I want to give them an abundant life. And I'm not talking more in a greedy way. I'm talking more in like pretty basic ways. Let's cast this grand vision that I'm talking about. First off, I would love to have an established emergency fund, especially with both of us having such physical jobs and jobs that require us to be there, boots on the ground in order to make money. Then I think we should absolutely have something as a buffer if anything, God forbid, were to happen to us. My next vision for changing my family's financial future is creating a passive income. I already have a little bit of one that I'll talk about later, but I would love to have something that's really helping roll in a little bit more of a contribution to my family's expenses on a monthly basis. Because, like I said, my job is purely boots on the ground. If I'm not in somebody's kitchen cooking for them, I'm not making money. To help take that load off of myself physically and to allow me to be a little bit more present with my daughters, I would love to create the ability to roll in some passive income. I don't want to be a leech on society. I feel like I have a lot to contribute. I am really passionate about the skills that I have acquired and built over years and through education, and I don't want to try and just make money out of thin air by existing. I think that I have something to contribute to the world around me and to help enhance other people's quality of life. And I think that's a pretty special thing. Continuing on with the vision, I want to take my kids on vacation. They're only 4 and 2, so they're not like making core memories right now. Even if it's just a road trip, even if it's 2 hours away, I want to be able to make these special memories with them like I had growing up. I went on really incredible trips with my family, road trips and ferry rides, and got to see different cities all over the country. As an adult, I got to leave the country, and I think those things are formative. They change how we see the world around us, and I want my kids to have that perspective, that understanding, and to look outside of their little bubbles and to know that there's more out there. And then there's little things. I would like to sign my girls up for extracurricular activities. I started dancing when I was 3 years old, and I danced until I was 18. My husband and I both did music lessons starting at 3 and 5 years old. These are formative experiences that I want them to have, but we actually can't incur those extra costs, and they add up. I don't want to feel stuck anymore. I want to be able to give my kids not just a good life, because they do have a good life. We are so blessed, but I want to give them a little bit more than that. The biggest dream for me would be to help them buy homes someday down the road and to not be a burden to them as I age. And I know all of that is cherry on top. That is dreaming really, really big. I think I'm just going to splice this in because I'm realizing I forgot to talk about it earlier, but one thing on my vision for my family is the ability to get a second car. It's not a need, it's a want, but it is a little bit tricky to deal with family logistics and scheduling when we only have the one car. And it is a goal of mine for us to have one more car, just to kind of take the stress off of scheduling and logistics and all of that. So that's the vision. How the heck are we gonna get there? What is the plan? Phase 1, I'm going to start listing digital products on Etsy. Everybody and their mom is doing this right now, but I do feel like I have a really specific and helpful niche in the postpartum sector. I'm 7 years into being in the home, in the trenches with new moms, cooking for them, watching them struggle with the logistics of it all, and also being a mom myself. I think I can lend something to this space, and I would like to see if I can start to drum up a little bit more passive income through doing those digital products on Etsy. Phase 2, I'm gonna work on growing our current income streams. I have a Substack where I post recipes and postpartum musings, and I'm so fortunate to have a small following there. I would love to see if I can work to grow that. Also, I have an ebook on my website as a postpartum personal chef. I would like to see if I can help sales with the ebook and finding new ways to grow my other income stream of being a personal chef. How can I do that while not being away from my girls more than I already am? That's a tricky one, but it is something that I love doing, something I feel really passionate about, and I hope to be able to continue doing even as I hopefully grow these other income streams. Phase 3 is going to be optimizing our existing finances. I would love to really sit down with a critical eye and look at how I am spending, how we are spending our money, where everything is going, and be a little bit more diligent and intentional, because I do think sometimes we get stuck in these subscriptions, supplements, streaming services, all of those things that maybe we don't need to be spending monthly money on, that we can kind of trim here and there to make room for other things. Every month we're going to do a sit down where we're going to look over what worked, what didn't work. I'm going to share if the needle is moving, and if so, where it's moving, and what tools I employed to get me there. I've kind of touched on this already in this video, but I want to give a blanket statement that I know that I'm really blessed as it stands. I have a car that drives, I have a roof over my head, I have a beautiful, healthy family, I have a job, healthcare. This is not about wanting to be greedy. It's about wanting to take what is out there and welcome it into my life. I think I've spent too long being closed off because I know that there are others who need more than I need. There are resources out there that are available for the taking, and I'm watching everybody around me take those resources. So I want to step up to the plate, and I want to do it for somebody other than myself. And I think that's why my motivation has taken me this far, is it's not for me anymore. It's for my kids. It's for the life I hope to give them and the legacy I hope to leave them. It's not greed. It's not me wanting to be a trillionaire. It is about wanting to set them up for success and for abundance. And I think that's attainable. Tomorrow, I'm creating my first digital product. It may completely flop, but this is where the journey starts. So let's see if this is possible, and let's do it together.